Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight to the Federal Election All Candidates Forum. I'd like to just introduce our moderator, Barbara Roden, and she will introduce the candidates. And I'm going to sit over there and do my job. If you still have questions, please just put them here on the front and I'll get it to Barbara.
All right, so I'm going to introduce all the candidates. They will each then have 2 minutes to introduce themselves to you, and then we will get into the questions. If you think of any questions as we're talking, they're from the Party. We have Frank Caputo from the Conservative Party, Ian Curry from the Liberal Party, Chris Enns from the People's Party of Canada, and the Green Party candidate for this riding, Jenna Lindley, could not be here tonight, so John Kidder, who is running for the Green Party in a different riding. His name will not be on the ballot. Don't be surprised when you don't see it there for our riding. John is standing in for the Green Party. So the candidates have all drawn lots to see who goes first. They will go in reverse order when it's closing time. And so, certainly.
Hi, my name is Chris Enns, and I represent something different. I'm a local candidate representing the People's Party of Canada. Our party began in 2018, and we stand for freedom. Professionally, unemployed is a project manager. We are. Canada is a country in crisis. Crisis of affordability, housing and cost of living, the crisis of economic mismanagement, the crisis of fentanyl, the crisis of truth and justice. People want closure on COVID, the Emergencies Act. Many fear U.S. annexation. At the same time, Communist China, Palestinian separatists, and European elites hold sway over our officials. Our government seems unwilling to meaningfully or responsibly address these issues. The People's Party plan is straightforward. To address housing affordability, we will bring demand in line with supply by pausing immigration until construction can catch up. To address cost of living, we must be financially responsible. No more deficits, no more corporate welfare, no more taxes. We need stricter laws and better based investigations to address more influence accountable. This is not Thank you.
Curry of the Liberal Party.
My name is Ian Curry. I am a father, husband, farmer's market lettuce hawker. I am here because just a few months ago, to our economy to unite, elbows up, pride in our nation, and all dissolve, but also a sense of optimism. I hear that resonates for the world. We want and bring the be a voice to build.
Next, we have Frank Caputo of the Conservative Party.
I speak too loud, so I'll maybe stand back a little bit. My name is Frank Caputo. I'm very proud, lifelong resident here of Kamloops, Thompson, Nicola. One of the things, and I was speaking about this with somebody earlier, one of the things I'm most proud of, 2 pennies to rub together. And they met in Canada. They immigrated from southern Italy, which is a very poor area. And my dad went to work as a local sawmill worker. My mom stayed at home, as was customary. I'm a lawyer by trade, but my first job was actually as a parole officer. Had an undergraduate degree, went to law school. Ian was actually my boss at one time, believe it or not. Went and did a second law degree and taught part-time in the faculties of business, sociology, and law. So you compare that with my family. My dad, as a sawmill worker, went to work when he was 17. He ended up having to leave in his early 50s because of medical issues. Yet, I'd ever run for anything was 2021 to now. Very proud of the work I did. One of the things I said is I stood on doorsteps. We didn't have all candidates meetings because it was COVID. But I stood on doorsteps or via Zoom networks, and I said, you know what, as a prosecutor and somebody who's focused on internet offenses against children, the term child pornography really bothers me. It's not pornography, it's sex abuse. So one of the first things I did was to put forward a private member's bill. With the help of Mel Arnolds, I wrote it, he helped get through the House, and that law was changed.
I used to live here, I wish I still did. I love Ashcroft. I'm standing in for Jenna Lindley because she can't be here. And I think it's important that the Green voice be heard in all these all-candidates meetings, so I'm doing this in underwritings as well. I think that, I hope over the course of the evening, we get some questions that are, allow us, all those candidates, and put forward the platforms and things that our parties are thinking about. I believe you'll find that the regional parties, the NDP, Liberals, and Conservatives, are all part of the same kind of a general consensus about how the world works. They differ in degree. We have a different approach to it, and I think you'll see that when we talk about some of the taxes we want to do, the spending we want to do, the way we want to approach the world. What's fundamentally different about the Greens and everybody else, that the climate crisis is like heat stroke, like the electrics fail, this is happening in horrible. Wow. Well, that's just as smart as Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is turning out to be not that smart. We have to actually reconfigure our commodities to ship them out of here and start to add value to the things we've got in this country. I share completely with Ian the sense that this country is just sniped at each other. Now we actually have an opportunity to feel as if we all live in the same country and we're all.
Hey everyone, can you hear me okay? I'm going to stand right here. Really cool, hugely honored. The first thing I notice is when I look and I see a teacher that my name is Miguel Godao. I am the candidate for the NDP party. I'm really excited to be here today. I am a Jessica. I'm an Ashcroft kiddo, small town kiddo. My work has taken me all over the province, and all of the places I've been throughout the province have been rural communities, and advocating for things that bring humanity back into politics. And one of the biggest things that I think of is my Nana Nova's voice, my grandparents. I'm also a child of grandparents who came to Canada in the 50s and in the 70s, and my Opa being part of the CCF, part of the NDP, and then bringing the humanity into everything we do. So whoever it is that is your next MP, advocating for humanity is important, and being a member of the New Democratic Party, I'm hoping to advocate the things that keeps humanity in politics. And I commit to being an ear to listen, to be an ear for rural communities, and to bring forward things. I might not always have the answers, but I want to be able to bring your concerns to Ottawa. And I would stand up for things like healthcare, stand up for
All right, so none of the questions, as far as I can tell, are directed specifically at one person. They're all for all of you to answer, the candidate, but we're going to kick off in order, Jessica.
Why don't you start this way and then start that way and that way?
That's assuming that I can keep track of that. I'll try. It's been a long day. Okay, so we're going to start down this end with Miguel. The question is, with the trade wars underway and the instability of the U.S., many people anticipate deep budget cuts. What programs will you refuse to cut?
Okay, so for me, when I think of budget cuts, when I think of the fears around budget cuts, we are in a time where people are immensely vulnerable, where people are struggling, where people are scared, where people are making choices as to whether they're going to skip a meal to pay for their medication, whether they're going to skip food to pay for their utilities. So for me, the things that cannot be cut are things like healthcare, social care. We need to be supporting our seniors and supporting our vulnerable populations and providing dental and pharma care. So those to me would be non-negotiable.
Okay.
I saw this.
Thank you.
That was my
Oh, okay. Mr. Frigo.
Frank is fine.
Frank.
Thank you. Well, I think one of the things we have to ask is what got us to the point where we may have to make some cuts. You know, we've got a $62 billion deficit. And is life any better? Food bank lineups are at a record high. People are paying record high prices for groceries, things like that. So we've got this lost decade of increasing cost after cost based on more taxes. It's almost like death by 1,000 financial cuts. In fact, I had a senior write to me and say, Frank, I have to choose between paying my hydro bill and buying shoes. Which is it? And yet, we've spent all this money and got nothing. So what are the things that I think we really need to focus on? 50, and I'm not.
We will tax financial transactions, like Valerie Tobin suggested some years ago. 0.2% tax on financial transactions